Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another DEEPWOKEN reaction. Today we have one that has been asked about quite a few times for a while. Sin-Melted Soiree by Nectigonus. Of course, I have been so waiting to get back to Nectigonus for a while, and people on a stream like today were like, hey, you gonna get to it? And I'm like, you know what, maybe, but I can't tell you when, maybe a few months. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it today. Nobody can tell me what to do. This is my whole channel. I can do what I want on here. So with my ego firmly in place and this song ready to go, without further ado, let's go. That started right away, didn't it? This one just kind of drives right in. Like it's already in there and it's like not even 30 seconds into the song. Ooh, oh, whoa. Ghost notes. Been a minute since I've heard ghost notes in a Roblox song. Really playing around on that snare. I did really miss Nectigonus's general sound. Sounded like a horse whinny. That was weird. Really leading into the harpsichord too. That's not really a surprise though. Ooh, okay. A little bit of like a chromatic stair climb here. Ooh. Ooh. Oh God. There's quite a bit of syncopation on that one. This pattern has a lot going on. Okay, vocals in here. I forgot that Nectigonus likes to do that. Just throwing in the vocals. Again, kind of back to the syncopation in the rhythms. A lot of different patterns. Ooh. Ooh, I really like that ending there. It just kind of settles into the atmosphere. I'm sure that leads into something else, but like, I like where that was going there right at the end. I forgot how much I miss Nectigonus's like whole sound. Like, it's not something that's like super groundbreaking or anything, but it also has such an identity that's just Nectigonous, and that's so nice to hear any artist that has such an identifiable sound for their music. And this is just one of those composers that has a sound that is unapologetically theirs, and it's so chill. And I've learned more about music theory stuff since the last time I've talked about Nectigonous, so I can actually share with you what the chord progression is here. This is F minor, D flat, E flat, and then C sometimes. Sometimes it goes to C minor and kind of goes back up to C, which is an interesting thing because usually you don't see those two next to each other. So you would get like, and you can hear that like weird adjustment between the C minor and the C there. It just doesn't really fit in most cases. That's why people don't tend to do it. And the C minor is the one that works with the F minor as far as the chord adjustments go and like what the key is. So it's just like, okay, why is the C in there? I believe firmly that it's just there because it kind of adds this extra tension where this kind of ends the phrase. It kind of answers itself. Just in the way that music theory works, when you end a phrase on a chord that's not within the same key or utilizing any sort of variant to a key that normally would fit, it's supposed to add some extra tension. You can actually do something similar by changing really any of the chords in that progression. So if I were to change like the E flat to an E flat minor, it would be like, and you can hear how much more tension there is on that. And it's like, okay, cool, but that's a little too much. It doesn't sound quite as like present as this one does. It's like, it's so close. So like adding an E flat minor is just a little bit too much tension. You could do the same thing again with like D flat minor. So it's like, and I just changed both to the flat minors so the two middle ones kind of work together a little bit more. But again, crazy with the dissonance on that. That's not at all what happened here. It was just more for me to show you what you can do to a song to make it sound just a little bit more different and changing slight things, even just a finger, to be able to change the entire tone of a song. So that's why this whole C minor and C works when it like kind of bounces back. Because it leaves that ending phrase on more of a question by fighting against the C minor. And that's just music theory. It's just theory. I know a lot of you probably don't care, but I love this shit. But the majority of the interest that happens in this song is entirely all that syncopation, those weird rhythms I kept mentioning, when you're doing something different against a different rhythm. Like if I were to just kind of sit there and do this, right? And it's just like that is happening, and it's just like these aren't landing at the same time. That sort of thing can be used extremely musically as long as you're careful about how long you use it for and what exact patterns you do. So for this song, having a bunch of that in there, it would almost feel overwhelming, and I believe that that is the point, especially during that one section where I like first noticed it. I feel like that would happen at like a major turning point in a boss battle, for example, where like the boss starts going fucking crazy and you're like, like they're throwing so much crap at me. That's the sort of thing that you can push through when you're trying to get that sort of an emotion through. You want to have so much information flying at the player. Do the same thing in the music. Make it reflect what's happening on screen. It adds that much more tension to the overall experience in the moment, and it like locks itself into your long-term memory much faster by doing so, because it's something that is so bombarding with that energy. It's so overwhelming with confusion that even in music and visuals, you're trying to figure out everything going on, and it can be extremely difficult to do so. So when that happened in this song, I was like, ooh, yay, we're doing something weird. And then of course, bringing it back later, albeit a little bit less, there wasn't nearly as much happening that second time around. And that's perfectly chill, because you're not going to want to do 100% every single time you do this sort of thing. You have to know when to like taper out the effort that's going into the song and at what specific emotional highs and lows that you're trying to write for. So I'm pretty sure Nectigonous would probably be aware of what would be happening during a battle or during a fight and wants to keep building up that energy, cranking that tension, going higher. And this song started pretty quick. Like it started, like the rhythm was going and everything was there, and it only added in like one or two other things slowly into the maybe first minute. And then after that, it was just chaos. And for a boss theme, I'm assuming that this is probably a boss theme. That makes a lot of sense too. So like, that's why I'm assuming it's a boss theme. This has the energy of a boss, not the energy of like, oh, I'm gonna run around the land of fucking adventure. It's not the same kind of energy that you'd be going for in that scenario. This is definitely something that's supposed to be cranking you further and further up that anxiety line, and you have no clue what to do with it. So that's why this song worked, even though it kind of started out by confusing me because of how immediate it was. Pretty quickly I was like, I see what they're doing. I see what Nectigonus's whole goal is with this one, which is reach anxiety as fast as possible, crank all of the rhythms going everywhere, make those as syncopated as fucking possible, and have fun with everything else. The main melody that was playing in here wasn't all that like confusing or anything. It was like all the texture happening, all these different rhythms going on, and all these different little details. The harpsichord also, because it is kind of a percussive instrument, it adds a little bit of that texture as well. So no matter what you're doing in this song, no matter how far you are into it, you're feeling pressure, you're feeling that percussive anxiety that's just surrounding this entire track, and it keeps building on that throughout. Even the moments near the end where it started to like take back some of that energy because you want to leave a little bit to like the end goal of the song. You don't want to just literally bring it all the way to the end most cases. And like for this one, how it kind of tapered out to become more of like a I guess an atmospheric track. It's probably the closest thing due to what it was doing. Makes me feel like that's the post of the battle. That's why I'm thinking this has to be a boss battle. That would be like leading into another track. That would be like now the aftermath of the fight, where it's a little bit more down on the energy. Everything is like theoretically gone and dead, potentially. You don't know yet though, so there's still that tension that's just kind of dragging over the whole feel at the end. And I feel like the end of this one is just leaning into that transition, so that's why it went that way. But this is such a cool song. Nectigonus is still a really interesting composer for me. I love their work, and like I said, it's pretty rare to find somebody that has like their sound and isn't just trying to replicate somebody else, because that happens all too often. And while you can, of course, especially if you're learning how to make music, replicate the sounds of people you like, that's kind of how you start to come into your own as an artist. You replicate other artists, you replicate their sounds and their approaches, and you learn from that and you turn it into your own. You take all of these different inspirations from different spots and different people, and you eventually over time learn how to make that sound or that visual style. Works the same way in art in general. So you can just make that into your own sound, your own visual style, whatever, by working through all of these other experiences and making it your own. And that's also why I love Nectigonus's work, because like, again, it's a little bit amateurish in sound actually, but at the same time, it's so confident in that tone. Like there's nothing like amazing, breathtaking about the sound design or anything in most cases, but the brilliant part about Nectigonus's work is that he doesn't seem to give a shit. And that's like that dry confidence I wish I had. If I had that confidence, I would have been releasing music already, but like I don't. So I appreciate and respect people who do, who put stuff out there and like have that desire to be like, I'm going to make work that I like and not really care so much about the end product, not try to make it the super epic polished thing that sounds like fucking everyone else. And that might come off sounding insulting to their sound, but it's not, because it's still their sound. Just because it sounds a little bit different and isn't like fucking cinematically polished doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's approachable. It's awesome to listen to stuff like this because there's this quality to it that feels so approachable. And it's nice to hear that once in a while. That's why I think Nectigonus is still one of the best composers in the Roblox community in general, at least of who I've heard so far, because it's just such an identifiable sound. When they're on a soundtrack, you're like, damn, that's Nectigonus, even if you don't know. That identifiability is something that most artists can only ever hope to get or strive for, and you should all strive for that, because Nectigonus has their sound. It sounds great, it feels great, and it continuously has this like realm of familiarity, like including the vocal lines in there, and I'm pretty sure that's just Nectigonus doing that, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves. And that's like a signature quality of Nectigonus's work. It's that they are a part of it. You know, like they are in there. It's not just the music. It's like there's an element of just specifically something they're putting in manually. And that's really fucking cool. But I think I'm done yapping about this one now. So thank you all so very much for watching. I kind of went on a long tirade about the whole musical identity thing, but hopefully you all enjoyed listening to me yap about that. But if you want me to listen to another song from DEEPWOKEN or any other Roblox title, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do any of that and maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!